Hi, welcome to the fifth video about NFTs for developers. In this video, we're going to cover a little bit more about minting your NFTs, but we're going to build a decentralized app around it. So we're going to write a little bit of backend, we'll write a little bit of a front end, and we're going to cover all the interaction with the user, and you will be able to mint your NFT by getting your local file into the IPFS, and you'll be able to retrieve the data about your NFT. All right, let's jump straight in. If you want to follow along for this video, let's use one of the tutorials that we prepared on our documentation website. So feel free to go to Tezos.com and then docs.tezos.com. If we go to the tutorial section, we will have the tutorials. We covered Create NFT with TZNFT tool in the previous videos. Now we're going to go to Create a Contract and Web App that mints NFTs tutorial. All right. The link you can find in the description down below. We don't need to go through all the sections because, we already know what NFTs are. We know how to set up the Beata IPFS file storage, so we don't have to cover this. We know how to originate a smart contract on Tezos, but what we have here, we have a Taquito, which is a very powerful framework. So let's jump here. We're going to get familiar with this library, and let's check out if we do have some prerequisites. First things first, we already downloaded the Node.js and NPM. So next thing, configuring IPFS. If you don't know how to do it, this is the video. You can find it also in the description down below, how to set up your Beata API key. So we can skip that one and we can jump into the tutorial contract straight away. So let's have a look on our tutorial application, how it's gonna work out. So here we have a very, very nice chart on how it's gonna work out. I'm gonna do some drawings on it. So let's switch to our drawing mode, and so this is like the interaction with the user, how we're gonna interact with the user first. First of all, we will load the app, and show the initial page. That will be literally up to the front end part, Then we're gonna use the functionality to connect the wallet. Next thing, once connected with the wallet, we will fetch the user's existing NFTs. How it's going to work out for the backend. As you can see, there is no backend here. We're going to go directly to the smart contract on Tezos network. So we're going to fetch the data about existing NFTs and update the page with the user's NFT. And it's still going to be done with the front end. So next, we're gonna upload the image. We'll give ability to the user to upload their own image. Then input the information about the NFT itself, like NFT details. Once we're gonna click Mint NFT button, it's going to send some metadata to our backend. So we will have a little bit of a backend. So the responsibility of the backend will be, first of all, uploading the metadata to our IPFS. We already know what IPFS is. If you don't know, go back to one of the videos from the previous series. Then return the metadata URI, and what the backend will do with the URI, we're going to call the contract's mint entry point. The smart contract do have the mint entry point. And what will happen with this entry point? We're going to go all the way back here. We're going to fetch the user's existing NFTs again. Yeah. And we need to double check if the image that we minted here will appear in our front end. Yep. So again, we'll do everything again and update the user page with the newest just minted NFT. So that's what we're going to build. So we have a little bit of front end, a little bit of back end, and our smart contract will need to be able to provide some data. And to make it work for the front end, we're going to use Taquito Library. All right, so let's jump straight in. Before we start coding, let's actually double check that we do have the right versions of Node.js. Node version. Brilliant. And npm. Same. Cool. All right. If you have slightly different versions, for the Node, make sure it's 18, but with the npm, if you have the latest version, it's still fine. Okay. So next thing would be configuring our IPFS. There's a separate video about this. It should be in the description down below, so we can skip that. So very next step would be literally downloading the tutorial files. I assume you do have Git installed and you have it configured properly, so that should work like this. So if we cd to our tutorial application, so once we cloned our repository, let's have a look what's inside. So as you can see, we have quite few items here. Let's focus on the NFT-Taquito one. So, all right. So what we have in here. So we have a backend, we have frontend, and we have contract, and obviously the README file. But our main focus here would be the contract itself. Okay, so let's have a look what's inside the NFT Taquito folder. So we have a backend, we have a frontend, and we have the contract folder. So from now on, let's just jump into your IDE of your choice. My favorite IDE is VS Code. So let's use the code. And we have our VS Code opened. So let's make it a little bit bigger, so you can see what we are doing here. Let's jump into our Lego smart contract. Let's look a little bit closer to our mlego file. So as mentioned before, NFTs follow the FA2 standard. So we need to make sure that in our smart contract, we provide a set of endpoints that will give us a special functionality. When we look at the entry points list that we have here, we have the transfer, the balance of, the update operators, entry point, but also mint and burn functionality in our smart contract built in. We won't go deep inside of the functionality for each one, but it's worth mentioning that the transfer is transferring the tokens between the accounts. Before we start coding, let's have a closer look on that specific smart contract. So as you can see here, it was written in legal language, specifically on Cameligo, which is very similar to OCaml language. So in that specific example, we don't really have to do anything. It's already written and it follows the standards called FA2, which formally is known as TZIP 12 standard. And how can we figure out that this is functionality that we need? By the set of the entry points that we have in that specific standard, which allows us to check the balance, to transfer the token, but also to change the operators. Let's have a look in the code first. So because Tezos is using strongly typed languages, in that specific smart contract code, we define the types at the very beginning, the types that will be used in the contract itself. These types are very important to verify the data is in correct format, such as parameters of transaction or sender pass. For example, the transfer. If we look at the transfer entry point, it accepts the list of the transfer type. So, yeah, we can have a look that there is the list of transfer destination and type address contains the address. There's another thing that we should also highlight here, the error codes. So for example, here we have a set of errors with very specific error codes that will follow the standard of FA2 contract. Please have a look. We're gonna play around, but maybe you will come across few of them. And if you want to dig deeper, what is that error all about? You can read the definition in the code. Okay, so that's it. We run through the contract code, and I think we are ready to start building our frontend and backend. So that's it for that video. Now we have like a huge knowledge about how to create a dApp. So stay tuned for next video. If you like that video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. And see you in the next one.